All right, folks, welcome back. My name is Dave, and this is the Radical Independent. We're beginning to see a neo-progressive meltdown over on Twitter and in various quarters of the world. It's interesting, and it shows how broken and crazy and discombobulated our political system is here in the United States of America. Neo-progressives. You can quote me on this. Maybe this is something new. I don't know. I'm sure the term has been used before. But these are people who pretend to be progressive, but yet they're MSNBC liberals, or they have sympathy for these ideas and issues that won't get anything done, and they have animosity toward people that don't believe exactly like them. It's truly the people that wake up with Donald Trump derangement syndrome, but it goes even further than that. And these people are now starting to kind of put the same mark on Tulsi Gabbard as they move forward. Now, this guy here, he's been the subject of a lot of independents' ire as of late. He now apparently works for TYT. I don't follow any of this stuff. A lot of people follow these people so they can retweet it and criticize it and critique it. The only reason I got to see this tweet was because I followed someone else who retweeted, and lo and behold, I decided to make a video about it. And just as a side note, as far as what this guy does on his channel, I did watch a couple of his videos and followed it for a very brief time. I realized that the content wasn't for me, that this person doesn't have any sort of sense of humor. He just seems very, I don't know, gray and gloomy and dark, and there just seems to be no light at the end of the tunnel. But he puts out a tweet, and the last sentence of this tweet really irritates me the most, but it says, if she's actually taking it to the convention, that means no endorsement of Bernie Sanders. If she doesn't hit 15%, she won't win any pledged delegates. So she'll be taking 1% of the vote share that would otherwise go to Bernie for absolutely no reason other than ego. You know, we could cite the whole Jimmy Carter was at 1% thing, because I think that is relevant right now as far as where the primary is. In most polls, Tulsi's around 2 or 3%. Don't know if she's going to have enough of those mystery qualifications or those goalpost moving qualifications that the DNC puts in place for the next debate. Don't know. Don't really care, because I don't think at this point the debates really mean anything. They do mean things as far as this commentator is concerned, because they actually believe that the convention, the Democratic Party convention, is something that is reliable and trustworthy, and we need to all worry about what's going to happen to Bernie at the convention in 2020, when really we've had 4 years to promote something different, to get something else off the ground, and everybody is basically started up their little, cottage industry around Bernie Sanders again. Okay, but there's no long-term plan to save the country. There's no third party where you could, there are third parties. There's the Green Party, for instance. But these are neo-progressives. They don't want to take that leap of faith over to something that it's like walking in space, basically, with no tether back to the spaceship. They don't want to do that because they don't know what's out there, and they don't want to do it alone. And this is the method that we have, and you hear the rationale, and you hear the repeated calls to just unite behind Bernie, and this is another one. But the last part of this, where he says that it's for ego. Okay, Tulsi Gabbard just quit Congress. I mean, she didn't quit on the spot, but she's not going to run again. So how is it about ego? Because an egotistical person would try to do both, right? They'd try to kind of keep one foot in the presidential race, and if that doesn't work out, they'd go back and they would run their campaign and stay in Congress. Look, she's been a legislative machine proposing bills, trying to get bills passed. Her ideas seem to be rock solid. She doesn't get a lot of support. She's been able to work with people across the aisle, which again, the tribalists, the neo-progressives aren't going to want you to do. See, part of the progressive movement seems like it wants to go it alone. Like it thinks its little narrow niche is going to destroy everything around it. And then everybody, like, you're going to get far-right conservatives that are just going to cry all day and go, "Uncle, and I'm done. Take my firearms, you know what I'm saying?" And the reason I use that example is because it just seems that there's no desire to try to unite the country. There's this desire to be angry. That's another reason I couldn't watch. There's this underlying anger that's part of these channels. There's one time I just watched that Anna Kasparian with the sound down, and it was like this the whole time, and her face was just ashen, and I didn't have any sound on, and I'm watching this woman, and I'm going, man, she needs a drink or something. She needs a shot of Xanax or whatever. I don't know. You could just see it, the way people converse, their body language. And the knock on a lot of progressives is that they're miserable all the time. And I don't know if that's true or not. I mean, I watched the Jimmy Dore show, and those people don't seem miserable. They seem really happy. They're mad at what's going on with the country, but they seem like happy, decent people. And they're also able to see things that these other commentators either don't want to see or refuse to see, or don't want to. It's kind of the same thing, Dave. They're blind to it. They're ignorant to it, and they don't see the other part of the country that doesn't agree with them. And they have no desire to try to bring that other part of the country in. And then when it comes to the bigger issue of the convention, they don't seem to care that this convention is already rigged, like the debates. They didn't get rid of the superdelegates. They're still there. So if Joe Biden is still doing what Joe Biden is doing now, and I know he's not doing all that great in Iowa, that's one state. I mean, Hillary Clinton lost. I looked at the Ohio numbers from last time, and Ohio is a pretty important state. And she lost. But yet, thanks to the rigged systems, she won. Supposedly, she won, thanks to the DNC. So the DNC is still corrupt. So instead of attacking the DNC corruption, these tribal neo-progressives, what they do is they continue to basically talk about the horse race, talk about the convention, talk about the things that matter. Like Tulsi Gabbard is going to throw this if she stays in. That's the message that this tweet sends to Tulsi supporters, that your girl is going to throw the whole thing, and she better get out. She's got a big ego. Really? She's got a big ego, huh? Well, I will say this, is she's got intestinal fortitude because she's taking on everybody. She's taking on the Democratic Party, and a person like this, you can tell they're neo-progressive because they should be cheering the fact that she's taking on the Democratic Party, which is a broken corporation that either needs to be scrapped or overhauled, and Tulsi's mission is to try to overhaul it. Do I agree with that necessarily? No, I think Tulsi should leave the corporation and go to a smaller company like the Green Party and try to run from that standpoint. I mean, if she did that, these people would have a cow, a giraffe, and some other barnyard animals would start coming out of their butt. I mean, it just... I'm trying to understand the political process, to be honest with you, and I'm having difficulties. The reason I'm having difficulties is I look at an issue and I go, well, what she said, for instance, about abortion, that makes sense. To these people, it's, she's really against women now. And I'm like, really? Really? I don't get it. And most Americans aren't going to get it. And what this does, the bottom line as to what this kind of tribal nonsense and neo-progressivism, what it does, is it opens the door for Trump. Because Trump can just say, hey, look at this train wreck over here. Look at what's happening over here. Just vote for me. And You know, even Kyle Kalinske had to do a video kind of like sort of talking about the economy and how those numbers were good, and he's basically saying, but the economy is going to collapse any day now, and if it does, Trump's going to lose. Well, yeah, if the economy does collapse, Trump will lose, sure. Trump might lose anyway. We've got to be prepared to beat Trump by running a better candidate, not by hoping the economy crashes, because that's like Bill Maher stuff. All right, I don't hope the economy crashes. All right, for a lot of people, the economy has been crashed, and that's what you need to talk about. But this notion that, oh, well, you know, I don't think Trump's going to make it because, you know, the economy next year, it's going down. What if it doesn't go down? What if Trump does some crap and the economy goes in the opposite direction? Keeps going up or does really well? I mean, unemployment is still... You got to look at some of these stats. Yeah, I know people they're not making enough money. I get that. And wages are stagnant. And there are some bad things going on for a lot of people in this country. And here's the thing. As a candidate, you have to be able to convince people that they can have it better. That's why Bernie Sanders on healthcare is great. That's why Tulsi Gabbard on the endless wars and our involvement there is great. Now, a lot of people don't connect that with their daily lives. But that's why you have to listen to more than just a soundbite of what Tulsi Gabbard is saying. So, any person who comes out and talks about Tulsi Gabbard's ego is certainly just frightened and threatened by her existence. That she is like an alpha female. And alpha females apparently bother everybody across the political spectrum. I mean, you can't be a tough woman and have the spirit of service above self. I mean, that whole concept, these people just blow by that whole concept. They don't want JFK. They don't want him. You know, JFK shows up. Nope, don't want him. JFK, who could unite the country, who could bring people together from different political persuasions, who we could go to bed at night, wake up in the morning, and be proud of the President of the United States and think to ourselves, wow. I mean, that's awesome. And, by the way, she's got great policies, and she cares about veterans, she cares about the homeless, she cares about the environment. I mean, she went to Standing Rock when few others would or could or did. Okay? I know Jill Stein, I think, went, and Bernie phoned it in, from what I understand. But Tulsi Gabbard is different. She stands with ordinary people, and she cares about the future of the country. These people here, the tribalists, they seem to want to just pull us apart. And they're hoping that they can turn out enough of this neo-progressive base that wants to impeach Trump and believes that the Russian thing is the real deal and goes along with all this BS and nonsense rather than talking about issues. They're hoping a lot of those people come out, the people that love Tom Steyer. Okay? I don't know. I wouldn't bank on that. I mean, the Bernie people, apparently there are a lot of Bernie people that think that way, and that's what scares me about Bernie. And I know Bernie is playing a bit of a political game with those people. He did defend Tulsi Gabbard, and apparently that made a lot of the Bernie supporters angry. It just... and it makes me not want to vote for Bernie Sanders, but again, if it's Bernie against Trump, you know, my wife has, what, about $10,000 worth of student loan debt or something like that still? You know, she's, 30-something years old? I'm not going to say her age, but she's in her upper 30s. And, yeah, I'll vote for Bernie because Trump's not going to do anything about that. See, I'm going to vote my own economic interests. I'm not going to vote for some stupid tribal nonsense that has nothing to do with my daily life. So think about that, neo-progressives. Think about that. And you know what? Tulsi is your friend overall, and I don't think she has much of an ego. Okay, she's served her country, she's served her constituents, and now she's trying to serve as commander-in-chief. And she's got every right to go right to the convention, even if she only gets 1% of the vote. And I think she's probably going to get more than that, because as these other jokers begin to drop out, her message gets louder as their message goes away. Alright, that's my video. Thanks for watching. Thanks for subscribing to this channel. Please, if you can, help me out via Patreon or PayPal. The PayPal link will be put in the description of this video. Until my next video, aloha, have yourself a great day.